Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, relax, grab a beverage and enjoy the show. And tonight we're going to do my March Power Possibilities. So stay tuned. Okay everyone, so March is going to be a fun, productive reading month, I hope. And we're going to have some readathons, some book clubs, and all sorts of fun stuff. But before we get there, before we get to the books that I want to read or plan to read, I'm going to talk about Sunday, because we're going to talk about The Haunting of Velkwood on our little channel, a little Discord, Fright Club. And The Haunting of Velkwood is part of a Gothic thing that we were doing in February with special guest Jen from Literary Love 123. Let's check out her channel, it's awesome. And we're going to be having a live discussion on Sunday, so all the details will be in the Discord down below. I hope you can join us. And I know that we had a little chat. It seemed kind of 50-50 about people that really enjoyed it and those that didn't. I found it kind of enjoyable. I enjoyed the book, so looking forward to chatting on Sunday. And speaking of Fright Club, our pick for March for the subgenre of folk horror, and with our special guest Kelly, Hooked on Books, awesome channel, check her out as well. And I forgot to mention my other host, Crits from Secrets Read, check her out as well. So drop down and join us for The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. That's what you voted in, and it was kind of unanimous. So what's this book about? It is when a young woman clears out her deceased grandmother's home in rural North Carolina. She finds long hidden secrets about a strange colony of beings in the woods. So I want to go into it kind of blind. I don't know too much about folk horror, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. So that's the first book I'm hoping to read, or high priority for me. Layla's panting in the heat. And that is T. Kingfisher, what was it? The Twisted Ones. And another book club that I'm joining in with is Nikhil from Esteem. And we are reading the entire Matthew Corbett series by Robert McCammon. And I'm loving it so far. And I've finished book 2, which I'm going to talk about in my wrap-up. It was absolutely brilliant. The Queen of Bedlam, a 5-star for me. Might be my book of the year. The way the series is going, it's just fantastic. And the next book in the series, part 3, is Mr. Slaughter. Now, really honestly for me, Robert McCammon can do no wrong. It's just a fantastic author. And I think in April we might be rereading Boy's Life as well. But what's this book about? Very basically, Prince Little, Prince Very Small. And I'm going to try not to spoil book 1 and 2. It deals with this character Matthew Corbett. He's kind of the protagonist, and he's very good at kind of noticing things and sort of detecting things. And it deals with kind of the first 2 books is how he grows as a character and comes into himself. And it's just freaking brilliant. And it's a mystery, it's a historical fiction, there's a lot of horror in there, it's very, very dark, and it's just freaking awesome. So you can't really pigeonhole this particular series in any one genre. But man, it gets very bloody, believe me. New York City, 1702. Matthew Corbett, problem solver, accepts an unusual and hazardous commission. Together with his colleague, he agrees to escort the notorious mass murderer, Terence Slaughter, from an asylum outside Philadelphia to the docks of New York. And one thing that this guy does so well, Robert McCammon, is his character work is exquisite. and the way he describes the setting, and particularly in these historical novels. The first book was Speaks the Nightbird. Describes the setting so well, the character so well. Such a masterful storyteller. So yeah, I'm loving it, and I'm going to try and finish the whole series. Okay, next up we got the Week of Weird from the 2nd to the 8th of March. And I always love taking part in this because I love me some weird horror fiction. And yeah, it's hosted by Crystal from Fiberarty, Jason from Jason's Weird Reads, and they're both phenomenal channels, so you must check them out. Excuse me. And what I'm doing, and I don't really, as I'm sure most of you know, I don't really follow prompts. I rather let the readathon guide my reading. So I'm going to be reading 2 books that maybe are more possibly cosmic. Might not be reading 2 books. I'll tell you why in a minute. But they definitely fit into the weird category. Sorry. But I do plan on also finding some short stories that are kind of weird. That should be fun too. But yesterday I did a challenge tag where I read the first paragraph of 4 books, and I chose which one I wanted to read for this month. And I let my audience also choose one based on kind of the ratings down below, and so kind of let them take part as well. And I want to do this here as well because there are 2 books that I'm interested in reading, and in fact they've both been on my TBR before in the last 2 years and I haven't got to them, and I want you to decide which one I should read for this month. First one, and I'm going to read from what it says on Goodreads. First one is A Fisherman by John Langan. In upstate New York, in the woods around Woodstock, Dutchman's Creek flows out of the Ashokan Reservoir, steep-banked, fast-moving. It offers a promise of fine fishing and of something more, a possibility too fantastic to be true. When Abe and Dan, 2 widowers who have found solace in each other's company, yes, you call this a grief horror as well, and a shared passion for fishing, hear rumours of the creek and what they might find there, a remedy to both their losses. They dismiss it as just another fishy story. Soon enough, the men found themselves drawn into a tale as deep and old as a reservoir. It's a tale of dark packs, of long-buried secrets, and of a mysterious figure known as Der Fischer. I suppose that's German. The fisherman. It will bring Abe and Dan face to face with all that they have lost, and with the price they must pay to regain it. Yes, it sounds good. And yes, I don't want to think that this is a foregone conclusion, because the next book also sounds phenomenal, and I've heard good things about it. And what's more, Wild Spaces by S.L. Coney, this is what Goodreads says about it. Robert McCammon's Boy's Life meets H.P. Lovecraft. Sounds freaking interesting. In Wild Spaces, a foreboding, sensual coming-of-age debut in which the corrosive nature of family secrets and toxic relatives assume eldritch proportions. An 11-year-old boy lives an idyllic childhood exploring the remote coastal plains and wetlands of South Carolina, alongside his parents and his dog. But when the boy's eerie and estranged grandfather shows up one day with no warning, cracks begin to form as hidden secrets resurface that his parents refuse to explain. The longer his grandfather outstays his welcome, and the greater the tension between the adults grow, the more the boy feels something within him changing, physically, into something his grandfather welcomes and his mother fears. Something abyssal, something monstrous. Might be some cosmic horror, maybe some body horror. So, you've heard the synopsis of both those books. Which one should I read? I'm leaving it up to you, the viewer. Okay, so you need to tell me down in the comments below. Just say the name of the book, and I'm going to count at the end. I'll give it 24 hours, and then I'll decide and I'll let you know. Okay, so based on the challenge video I did yesterday, I chose, and a lot of you agreed with me, Urban Gothic by Brian Keane. Now really this looks absolutely phenomenal. from what I know is this car breaks down in this very dangerous neighborhood. And these people see this house. It's apparently abandoned. What do they say? It's old dark row house. And they think they can stay safely there overnight. From what I read in the synopsis, there are people living in the attic. And yeah, these kids are going to struggle to survive the night. And it says here at the end, and death is only part of their nightmare. So yeah, it sounds freaking brilliant. I read another Brian Keane book, I can't remember what it's called, but I'm looking forward to this very, very much. That is Urban Gothic. And then from the remaining 4 books, I told you to vote. Okay, which one would you like me to read? And it came down to 2, and it was very close, people. It turned out to be 6 votes versus 5. I'm sorry for people that your books weren't chosen, but thank you for taking part. I'm going to do this more often, it's fun. Really enjoyed that. Okay, so it came down to 6 versus 5. Which shall it be? And it ended up being Unholy Fire is a winner. 6 votes. So yeah, Whitley Strieber. Did you say Strieber or Stryber? I have no idea. He walked now like a god. He knew all the right places. The true night, the secret night. That's about a father who's plunged into a scandal. When a young woman he has been counseling is brutally murdered in his church. It's the first act in a dark and dreadful drama. For this is no isolated crime of violence, but a manifestation of a spiritual plague so deep and subtle it will test every fibre of faith and courage in his soul. Yeah, and I can see from here it's just going to be a tale very much of good versus evil. It says at the bottom here, the most terrifying story of good versus evil since The Exorcist. So yeah, this could be a lot of fun. It's Unholy Fire. Okay everyone, now finally, the final readathon that I kind of want to take part in. And I might not finish this book, I might just start the book. Because this is the March of the Mammoth, where you have to read a book that's over 800 pages. And yeah, I've kind of been struggling with some long books lately. Definitely not Robert McCammon's books. But yeah, I tried this before, and I want to read Stephen King Under the Dome. Yeah. And even if I've kind of started in the last 3 or 4 days, if I'm struggling, I really want to read this book. Because I want to read everything the man's written. And so yeah, very basically it's about a dome that mysteriously covers a small town and traps all the people. You know, nothing can get in, nothing can go out, and all the chaos. And yeah, I can only imagine what happens after supplies start dwindling and things start going bad. I'm sure they do in Stephen King books. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. Wish me luck for this one. That is Stephen King Under the Dome. All 880 odd pages. Oh, and I do want to read another Stephen King book this month. In March. Because I'm doing a reread of The Dark Tower. And it's also in our Discord, Fright Club. Yeah, even if you want to just pop in and if you've read them already, just say a few words and say hello. There's lots of other things you can do in our Discord. Just come and say hello. So I'll leave the invite down below. And yeah, this is a drawing of the 3. That's part 2. Part 1 in The Gunslinger. Now I love The Gunslinger, but a lot of people don't. They find it tedious. It's kind of, it really is kind of, you're not sure if it's a Western, if it's sort of post-apocalyptic. It's kind of weird. And it just focuses on this character, and he's, you know, kind of going after the man in black. But I really love it. It sets a tone for the series. But in this particular book, the series explodes. A lot of people will rate this as the best book in the entire series. And let's just look at the back. Actually, there's nothing in the back. I have to look in here. Where is it? Okay, well, let me just tell you very basically what it's about. Yeah. So the gunslinger ends up in our world. And when you mention the drawing of the 3, he's going to find other people to accompany him on his quest to find the Dark Tower. That's all I'm going to say. And it really is a fantastic book in the series. And for me, the third one is my favorite. This is a reread, but this comes pretty close. So yeah, that's a drawing of the three. Okay, and finally, before we go, I definitely want to get to Stephen King's Creepshow. I'm not sure if you're going to call this a comic or a graphic novel. Probably a graphic novel. But yeah, and also if you haven't seen the movie Creepshow with Stephen King and George A. Romero, and with Joe Hill as a young son. Let's really do yourselves a favour. But I loved all the stories in that movie, so I'm looking forward to seeing this graphic novel. And yeah, so I'm just going to dip into that. And I'm also going to dip into Paperbacks from Hell, Grady Hendrix. It's going to take me the whole year to read. Because it's non-fiction. It just goes through the twisted history of 70s and 80s horror fiction. So yeah, and just some of the covers and some of the, just talking about each book. I think it's quite humorous, insightful, and I'm going to love this. And yeah, I just want to just go through it nice and slowly. Enjoy it. Okay everyone, so those are all the books I'm hopefully going to read in the month of March. Let me know what you think down in the dark spaces below. Have you read any of those books? Prioritize them for me. Just have a conversation with me. I love chatting with you down there. And don't forget to vote for that book. Okay? And yeah, until next time people, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.